Yes, yes, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. We are
Good morning.
here. I'm so excited about this session. So excited. And I have some phenomenal women here that we're going to be, we're going to be looking at this topic together. So let me just start by introducing myself. This is Breaking the Silence, Marriage Abuse and the Way Forward. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you're watching us on Facebook, or in the Facebook group, wherever you're watching us from, you're so welcome. Let's know where you're watching us from. You can put it in the comments. We'd love to know where you're watching from. And also, we want to encourage you, please
Yes.
share this on your page. This is a session that it's so needed. It's been going on for a while, but I believe that until as much as, and we are so grateful because a lot of people are speaking up because it's so touching. And I think that's why a lot of people are speaking out because it's the way in which it happened. So as we are going to be going into this conversation today, I'm going to get my phenomenal guest. So my name is Olu Olabode. Let me introduce myself briefly. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a mom. I've been married for 20 years, almost 21 in November this year. God has been good. I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, and anything that concerns women, really, just like all of us that are here, is just concerning. Oh, thank you. My sister here is right from Arizona. Thank you, sis. Okay, so I'm gonna get Dr. Adesayo. Please, introduce yourself. Let's get to know you.
Good morning, because I'm calling in from Auckland, New Zealand. Already we're Friday morning. So good morning, everyone. It's great to be in the
Wow.
house. Thank you so much, Pastor Labode, for inviting me to be part of this panel. It's a great privilege. I do not take it for granted. And I want to bless the name of God for making me a woman. I am glad that I am a woman. I am blessed that I am a woman. I thank God for the dominion mandate that He has given me to rule, to reign as a king, a queen in His kingdom. It's a great privilege. By the grace of God, I'm married to my childhood heartthrob, Pastor David. By the grace of God, our marriage will be 30 in October. Like I always share, with my covenant sister, Pastor Olabode, it's not a bed of roses, like people may want to assume. It is hard work, but I want to bless the name of God for the grace that He has given unto me and my husband to be committed to work very hard. We're still getting to know each other. So I can't really say, we've actually assumed a perfect marriage. But I want to thank God for that testimony. By the grace of God, we pastor the Redeemed Christian Church of God. My husband is the senior pastor in New Zealand. We're blessed with three wonderful children. They're all grown-ups, 28, 26, 21. And we have two beautiful grandchildren. By the grace of God, I'm a social worker, counselor, a mental health, um, mental health social worker, and I've got a PhD in African women's psychology.
Hmm.
Funny enough,
Beautiful.
because I looked into the adjustment of African women in New Zealand in my PhD thesis. And by the grace of God, God has given me the opportunity to work with so many African women. At the same time, I'm the CEO of the Fragrance of Influence, a ministry that is set up to empower women, to encourage women, to educate women about life. So thank you so much for having me, Pastor Labode.
Thank you, Dr. Adesayo, for introducing yourself. Before I go to my sister Sabuki, I'm going to ask. I just want to say hello to our guest. Thank you, Amakri. I can see nice one, sis. Thank you. I can see Rosie Naigboka. I can see Busola Adun. Please share this with others as well, because I believe that God is going to just maybe, give hope to a lot of people that at this time they're losing hope, you know. Thank you, thank you. So let's go to our sister here, the CEO of Ivy's
Ye-
Love Haven. I know
Yes,
that's her name.
yes,
Please go
yes,
ahead.
yes. Good to see you, man. Good to, good to have you here and good to have me here too, man. I'm in the midst of pastor's wife today, so I better behave myself, right? I better put my hair straight and behave myself. My name is Bukola Udefiagbon. I'm married. I'm a Yoruba girl, married an Edo man, traveling all the way from Ekiti to Edo. You know what that means. Cultural difference and all of those things. So, um, and of course, I have a program on Facebook, YouTube, Ibi's Love Haven, where we talk about love. We just don't want people to be married, but I want people to be happily married. I'm passionate about that. I'm a relationship coach. I worked with doctors for quite some times, but right now I want to hop it up a little bit. So I'm into mental health, but I'm not done. Of course, I had my first degree in banking and financing, but I'm not fulfilled in that area, and I need more. I need. I'm a coach. I'm a mom. God has blessed me with 4 beautiful children. God has been so faithful. Like you said, marriage is not a bed of roses. But the right foundation helps. And that is why I'm out here to help people, especially the youth, to help people win where it matters, building paradise on earth in your home. And that's the thing. We are not saying everyone is having a perfect marriage, but we need to put our hands on deck to make it work. And that is why I'm out here speaking, lending my voices every day to make sure that some of the mistakes that our mothers made, I don't want people to make it. I mean, some of the things that I struggle with, I don't want people to struggle with them too. And that's why we are out here lending our voices. And thank you so much for having me here. It's going to be a great show. And just for you to know, I say it as it is. I'm a very raw person. So accept me. But I'm going to behave myself, like I said.
That's why we
I'm
love
in the
you.
midst of pastor's wife, so I'll behave myself. So, and I'm a minister in church too. I minister, yeah, and that's all for now.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. So actually, you said something that I'm going to get on Alessa to start off on that foot. You spoke about the foundation
Yeah.
because when we're talking about abuse here, we're talking about the way forward. I know, and this earlier today, I was listening to one of the talks that Reverend Funke Adejimo was the way she started on Monday. She's been talking about this topic. She's talking about it the whole week, and she was talking about a lot of relearning, unlearning, learning, and really because when we look at this abuse and all of this, when you look at marriage, like I said, you've been married for 30 years. I want us
Yes.
to go to the foundation. So, okay, she mentioned foundation because really, I believe that the foundation is so key. It is so key. And before we even go to, okay, when there's abuse, what do? We want to talk about that foundation. You've been married for 30 years. Can you share a little bit about, the last 30 years? Like we said, there's no perfect marriage. But
Yes.
how has it been for you? Just kind of take us there.
Okay. Um, the first thing that I want to say is that marriage is beautiful and
Yes.
you can have a happy one. But I also need to let you know that when two people come together, they're not there to compete. They're a team
Yes.
and they're supposed to win. When you
Mm,
are, like maybe you're having a competition, between if you are into sports, into soccer, they're like two teams. So if you happen to be on a green team, we are here together to win. We're not here to compete. There are two people here to win. So I think that mindset is also very important. I also want to say that marriage should be about friendship. I'm
Hmm.
glad to say that it should be for a lifetime. I remember when we got married, my husband kept saying, they don't even think about divorce. There is no, chance, to divorce, in this relationship. Well, your marriage, because we're talking about Christian marriage, like I put, in my post, we're
Yes.
talking about Christian marriage. So it should be for a lifetime. Then your marriage should preach the gospel. It should be a place of permission. It should be a place of generosity. It should be a place of joy.
Hmm.
And the last one that I'm going to say that will shock us. It is not always the will of God for you to be married,
Hmm. Which is true.
which is very true. And the
Which we
foundation
don't teach enough. Which we
is in
don't teach enough.
First Corinthians 7. And by the grace of God, I am hoping that I'm going to have the time, to actually read some scriptures to us. So marriage is not about growing young together. Marriage is about growing old together. By the grace of God, we're going to be 30 in 30 years in marriage. My husband will be 55. I will be 54 this year. I remember when we met, I I can still capture because we were so young, when we met. I can still see
You
my
must have been
husband.
teenagers.
Yes, Rudy, very beautiful, fair skinned, and I'm like, who is this? Where's this person? And you know, repeatedly he tells me too that when I met you, I was very skinny because I wasn't eating then. I was always cutting my hair. I still cut my hair. This is a wig. My friend, Pastor Labode knows, and each time, my hair is growing, it caused the barber to come home and say, please come and cut my wife's hair. And when we are done, he looks at me and says, this is how I saw you. This is,
Hmm.
what. So, but we have moved away from that. We have moved away from how we looked 40 years ago,
Yeah.
or even when we got married, 30. We're growing old. There's so many things that has taken place. We've had children, we've had gains, we've had losses, we've had pains, we've had lots and lots of challenges where we've had, sicknesses, we've had health challenges, but we're still here today because we realize that this marriage is not just about him. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not the African, marriage or even the typical church marriage. It's about Jesus. It's about God. That is what has kept us till today. So if we had that foundation, and like I said, in First Corinthians, 7, Apostle Paul was very clear,
Yeah.
verse 7, between 7 and 8. So some are actually, you know, giving birth to being eunuchs. If you don't have the capacity to get married, why should you push yourself to do it? Because everyone is doing it. And in verse 25, it says, to the virgins, I have no commandments. You know, Apostle Paul himself was not married. But now it's the in thing. Everybody must be married. When your daughter is I've got one in my house, 26. When your daughter is 25, 26, you begin to panic. You begin to put pressure on them. I joke with mine, if she's not even in Australia, I say, your boyfriend, I make things up, she's just smiling. We know she doesn't have one, and we're okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you happen to be in a typical, African
African
context,
setting. Yeah.
they will remind you, your friend got married last year. Your friend already has 3 children. What do you even know that you are cut out for marriage? I'm going to rest there. Thank you, ma.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma. Stabuki, I have a question for you. So there's something that breaks my heart now. When we all want to get married, like looking at all of us. So when we went to the altar, none of no, but even when you ask Osinachi if she was alive, when she was going to the altar, nobody envisages that they are going to get into an abusive relationship. Nobody. And I often say that often a lot of times when you go into when someone is going through an abuse in a relationship, often there would have been red flags that were ignored. Often. I always say that either it could be verbal, it might not necessarily be physical, but if you look deep down, there would have been some red flags. So this person that maybe they ignore and say, oh, this person will change, and they get into the marriage. And now they are in this marriage and things are not changing. They envisage like all of us have this like this little girl, we're envisioning this fairy tale marriage. and you come in, and this is not like that. What do we do in this kind of instance? Where do we go from here?
Thank you so much, Ma. We have stages of relationship. We have the first stage where you meet your partner. That's where the butterflies fly around, giggling and all of those things. Sometimes in that first stage, you don't see a lot of things. All you see is have a date night, eat. Then the second stage, that's the infatuation stage, I would say. That's when you begin to notice a lot of things. Right now, you are curious about some things about your partner. You want to know some things. You want to notice some things about them and all of those things. Then the third stage, that's when you start, okay, where do we go from here? Now it's getting serious. That's when you begin to notice some things from your partner. Then you now want to know, would I be able to cope with these things or not? If I go into marriage with this, will I be able to cope with these things? That's the stage that most people jump when they're in a relationship. They just jump from that stage and they go straight to the marriage stage, the marital stage. They try to level up with this, thinking that by the time we get into the marriage, everything will just work well. No. So at that stage, that's when you begin to fathom if you will be able to live with that person. Will I be able to survive with that person? And that's the stage that a lot of people are missing. And that is the most crucial stage that you can decide to say, you know what? I don't think we are compatible. I don't think we'll be able to go on to the last stage of wedding. A lot of people don't want to miss that. Now, let me go back to our parents. People staying in abusive relationship.
Yeah.
During dating, a lot of things would have happened. This guy would not apologize. This guy would not see anything wrong in anything. You are the one doing the calling. You are the one doing the texting. When you're getting better, is intimidated. Those are some of the things that people need to point out at, but they don't want to look at that place because he's tall, he's tall, he has six packs, so she's beautiful. They tend to jump all of those things and leave it out. Then expect magic to happen when they get into the marriage. That's a lie. That's when trouble starts. And that's why a lot of people are having problems. They ignore red flags, thinking that miracle would happen, thinking that prayers will happen, carrying a picture to pastor's house, thinking that would make the miracle happen. That's the problem. Prayer is paramount, but there are things that we must not ignore. You don't have to meet people that are meant for you. The Bible says search. And he said you either find a wife. So that means that word find. That means if I don't get what I want, if I'm finding, I can decide to leave and move before it gets to marriage, because there is no place categorically in the Bible that the Bible supports divorce. That's the truth. But the truth is, how are we even sure that you are meant for each other? I say this authoritatively. The fact that you were on the altar, that some pastors prayed upon you for your wedding, doesn't mean that God actually approved that wedding. I say so many things would have joined you together. Some people, money would join them together. Oh, is rich. Some people, looks would have joined them together. Oh, it looks good. Some people, pregnancy would have joined them together. Maybe they were fornicating and you get pregnant and boom, we are getting married. It could have joined you together. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the will of God for your life. Now, when you get into that marriage and a lot of things are happening, then it's like what the Lord has joined together, let no man put asunder. Who told you that it was God that joined you together in the first place? Who told you it was God that joined you together? A lot of things would have joined you together. So what I want to say is when people ignore red flags, that's where the major comes in. We are not looking at perfection here. We are looking at two people coming together to make things work. Marriage is like a piano. You know, when you're playing a piano, you can have your two hands on one piano. You will be effective in that piano. But sometimes, the piano, these guys, they can combine two pianos. They have one here, they have one here. So marriage is like you are using both hands. If you want to put one hand, playing it with one hand, and you want both to work, it's not going to work. You have to put your hands there. I have to put my hands there to work. That's the mistake that a lot of people are making. They ignore red flags.
Thank you. You are so right, and and that's a big one. And so I'm going to ask. I'm going to bring. We have one more guest. I'm going to bring her up in a little bit. But as I want to ask. Okay, now now we find ourselves in this relation because a lot, and I've had to deal with this a lot over the years. Whereby just exactly what you're saying, and I'm sure you have the same thing. Having to now we are somebody did not take their time to go through times of getting to know before they even find out, is this even the person that God has called me to marry. I remember before I got married, I used to pray like till the last minute. I remember I remember you say that God, even if it is gonna be just before I walk down that aisle, like it is the morning, if he's the wrong person for me, please let it not even happen. Because I like that quote that always said that a broken courtship is better than a broken marriage. But I believe that also even culture plays a big role here, whereby with peer pressure, we picked the Ashrebi, we've picked, look at that lady that gave up, that just stopped her wedding because the
Yeah.
guy started, slapping her after after he paid for, the bride price and everything. And then somebody will say, but what are people going to say? Because sometimes that's always the issue. What are people going to say? And I think also because in the church, sometimes somebody is even okay now they've gotten married and they are going through this abuse, and then we tell them, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Stay there. Dr. Alisa, how do we deal with that?
Thank you so much for that. That was a very wonderful um, um, talk, that our sister just gave, right now, how to understand, what to look for. Most of the time we are maybe kind of brainwashed by romantic love. It's good, but some of us we had it, too. My husband was my boyfriend there, buying roses for me, giving me chocolates, going to Yet Came every day to buy assorted snacks, for me, you know. But one thing that I want to let you know is, even if you're afraid, God assured you 10 times that this is the person that you are going to get. For someone like me, it's like I grew up, with my husband. I was 13, he was 14 when we met. So how would you say I did not know him? We were living, in the same house. Our parents, my sister was in
Wow.
Lagos until his parents. So what part would you say I did? What? I didn't know him. Oh.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see it all. I did not see it all. Even now, sometimes when I want to poke him, I said, no surprises. So what do you have today? That he was a very quiet person. So sometimes, it's God thing that is designed, in his brain. But what we're saying is either the culture or the church, there's so many things that we have cooked.
Yeah.
We cooked it for ourselves. Take, for example, within the African culture, we believe it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm.
And it's a beautiful thing. We do things together, as a community. Or if you're giving birth, to your child, naming ceremony, everybody must come there. If your daughter is getting married, you must invite everyone from the village, from the church, from the community. It's a beautiful thing. We have that extended, to the church. Take, for example, if somebody's marriage is not working well, because we have been conditioned that one, we have been conditioned that it is the role of the wife
The
to
wife.
make the marriage
Yes.
work.
Yeah, that's the
And it's her fault if it's not
that.
working often.
Yes,
It's
that's
our
the yeah.
fault. Yes.
Yes.
So you have been conditioned. Take, for example, when I left, my mother said, your big sister doesn't come back here to share stories, about her marriage. So I'm not expecting you to come back.
Mm.
So I did not come back. We were not really having it, it wasn't fun. But I knew that I could not go back. But thank God my husband was not beating me. My husband was not, an alcoholic. But we still
But
had
what
that
if he
challenge.
was? Hmm.
But what if he was? Yeah. So because we have been conditioned that it is the woman's responsibility to make it work. Take for example, in our culture, the Yoruba culture, you are not allowed to come back. You can. My father would say, "Ọmọ kọ́kọ́ lè wá dálé moṣú lẹ́ni." You can't come back to this house, because it's a stigma, it's a taboo. But my question is, who actually created that stigma?
That's
Who
the
created
major.
who created
That's
that
the major.
values? Like I said, a marriage, the purpose of a marriage is to give you permission. It's a place that you should grow in. It's a place that you should give you joy. So you are not growing. You don't have, you are not permitted to do anything. Like our mom will always tell us, Pastor Funke Adejumo, you don't need the permission from anybody to live your life as designed by you.
Yeah.
But once you find yourself trapped, in this relationship, we overschooled our girls. By the grace of God, the youngest of our children, is a boy. And one way or the other way, I told him, I said, I cannot see any girlfriend in this house when I'm not guaranteed that you can cook and clean.
Hmm.
No girl is coming here to be your servant.
Hmm.
I'm shaking like this. He's looking at me. I said, it's true. And we are dragging him.
Yeah.
Don't introduce anybody to me, because I don't want any slave here. Nobody is coming to be picking after you. It's not, most of the time we train them to be educated, we train them to work, to be a worker, a successful worker in the church, for them to be. But we have also forgotten that the girls they are going to marry,
Yeah.
maybe they are medical doctors as well, maybe they're psychologists, maybe they're big business tycoons. So she's busy and you are busy. You are adding value to your life. He's adding value to you, to his life. So who is going to be the slave here? Who is going to be picking things up after you? So I think it's a setback. We have one thing that there is no place that the Bible doesn't permit divorce. But permit me to read this. Apostle Paul says, "It's my commandment, not the Lord." First Corinthians, like I said, chapter 7, verse 12. It says, "For to the rest speak I not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And
Hmm.
the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified, blah, 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 blah." But it was going now. "But if the unbelieving departs, let him depart." A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases. I gave an example of once one of the family that we're working with. They were living in the same house. He separated himself from the room for about a year. Is that not trauma? And one
Hmm.
day we packed these things, and this person claims to be born again.
Hmm.
So my question is, when we go back and forth, two things that
Hmm.
marriage is actually laid on. Is this person of the Lord?
Hmm.
Is it really? Is it by their fruit you shall know them?
Yeah.
Is this person of the Lord? There's there's no half of the Lord or quarter of the Lord. No, by their fruit you shall know
Well
them.
done.
And two things, you know, Proverbs 31 says, it was talking about the woman and character. So like I said, I saw my husband when we were in the see you we just write, oh, sell list, what we really wanted to see in our husband. When I saw it, and I was very happy. I saw it and I was very happy. So that was character. Okay, I like this, I like this, I like that. Like we're saying. So the person that you are going to spend the rest, because nobody is going to change in any marriage. I can promise you. I've been in mine for 30 years, going to 30 years. There are some things that my husband was doing from the beginning. Well, he has realized that even me that you're looking at, let's not just put the hot spot on the other person.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we got married, I realized that I had issues with anger. Serious one. Uh-uh. Because it's a familiar thing. We don't like injustice, and if we're not happy about it, we say it as it is. You know,
Yeah.
my husband kept saying that, why are you always angry?
Mm.
So if I was angry and he was not, like the perseverance one, there can't be any marriage today.
Yeah.
So what is that person's character? That you know that you can, well, I can still go with this.
You
I know
can
it's not perfect.
accommodate.
I can accommodate us. Well, let's hope that things will get better. With prayer, somebody said, we all come with our baggages. I come with my baggages. I come with my values. I come with my pains. I come with my disappointment. I came from a home. My father was a polygamist. There were so many women coming in and out. My mom was the first wife. I saw my father, beat my mother, throw her things. Mama, you will leave my house today. So, and we will be going to be picking those things. You know, my husband, the same. We all came from a very volatile,
But
homes.
you can change it around.
But we saw
Yeah.
that, okay, what was it?
If you
What was it?
accept that you have a problem, you can work on yourself.
Yes,
Yes.
that is it.
That's if you see it that you need
Mhm.
it, then you will be a better
Yeah.
person. But if you see it as a normal thing, then you're in trouble.
And that's the problem with abuse, I guess, as
Yeah.
well. Because often even the abuser doesn't even see himself
Yeah.
Ah,
as he has an issue. So that is gonna be something that we're gonna go to next. Thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna ask, I'm sure you're wondering, this lovely lady sitting here among Damilola, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Can you hear us? Damilola, can you
I
hear
don't
us?
think so.
yes.
I can hear you, ma.
Okay, we can
Okay.
hear you as well. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly? And then I have a few questions because you are young, you are single, and there's a reason why you are here. Because with all these things that are going on, a lot of people are having this fear of people are starting to have fear of, is it even worth it to get married? Is it even worth it? I remember even you sharing some of that with me. So we're going to talk to you, then, but kind of just introduce yourself, and then I'll go to the question that I have in a minute. Just tell us who you are. Oh, okay. I think she's frozen. Damlala, are you still there? Oh, and then all of a sudden she's frozen. Okay. So okay, we'll wait for her to come back. So while we're waiting for her to come back, let's go to that thing. So okay, if somebody doesn't even know they have an issue, so because this, why I'm mentioning this is because I had a few people that we actually tried to intervene. So these people now, they're in this marriage and they find that this marriage is not working. They've tried everything. They've even tried counseling. They've tried, and I know sometimes in the church as well. I think we don't do a good job because we tell them, stay there, it's gonna get
Mhm,
better. Stay there,
mhm.
it's gonna get better. And I think that's one of the things that we need to starting to unlearn as well. That before we say stay there, we want to find out what exactly is going on before we start saying stay there. So I want us to just go there with that abuse, because God forbid if anything happens to that person, the all the people that know about it, all the accomplices are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
They are going to be in trouble. So let's go there now with this person that is in this marriage. Let's talk about even the way forward. What can we now do? Okay, this person is even now being abused. What can we do? Let's start talking about it.
The expectations is just too high on the women. Just too high.
Mm,
Imagine you're
mm,
leaving your house and your mom or your parents, they are praying for you, telling you, I'm going to say this in Yoruba, Ili oko, Ili eko. On your wedding day, everyone is telling you, you have to endure, you
mm,
have to accept, you have to, the expectations are just too much. Growing up as a little child, as a girl, your mom would probably tell you 101 billion times that in your kololo, when you want to carry this, they will tell you, oh, you're going to your husband's house, you better know how to do it. When you want to do it, oh, you're going to your husband's house, you better know how to do it. How many of those times do they really tell the guys that, oh, you're
mm,
going to be married someday and you need to know how to take care of a woman? Maybe they see examples at home, but they don't really say it verbally. It's
mm.
always on we, the ladies. Now, as a parent, if you're giving me out for marriage and you're telling me, I wonder what you have been doing for all these years that I've been living with you.
That you haven't trained me.
That you haven't trained me. That you're telling me.
What else do I need to learn?
That means I need to learn. If I'm going to my husband's house, it should be well-cultured people coming together to make a home work. I shouldn't go and marry a problem, and a problem shouldn't come and marry me. That's my belief. A well-cultured guy coming to marry a well-cultured lady, the problems that they will be facing will not be problems that they are creating for themselves. It will be major problems, maybe from around. Maybe they need to conquer the world. You shouldn't be a problem to me. And that's the major problem. You cannot come back home. Die there. For crying out loud, we have so many guys who are so smart. You know, whenever I'm coming out to proudly write about something, I'm always very careful because the abuser also is listening.
Yeah,
okay,
to know
so
what to do.
So they are learning too. So if they are coming to get you, they know what to get you with. Let me use myself as an example. I was dating this guy before I finally got married. He would give me everything. So, very nice guy, good looking. He has everything, but he has a problem. He can raise his hand at any minute. Now, you want me, a well-cultured girl who knows what she wants for herself, to come and marry you on the basis of I would work on myself, I would change. No, you have to change now. And if you're not going to change now, then it's not going to work. And I'm not saying this that he did it behind me. He tried to commit suicide 2 times right in my presence, not behind me. He meant it. Obsession. I don't call that love anymore. But hey, I cannot stay there. No. I'm not going to marry you because I want you to be alive. If you want to die, well, that's your problem. As long as you know you have this problem and you're not willing to solve that problem, forget about it. I'm not going to put my life on hold or spend the rest of my life in misery just because I want to make you happy. I stepped out. I was fortunate to talk to this guy maybe 2-3 years after he beat his wife. Now, he will flog her very well. She will be out of the house. They will settle, and she would come back, and now she's a witch. You know, she's this, she's that. And I'm like, oh, thank Jehovah. You're still alive. You didn't die. What if I have put my life at stake and say, I want to marry somebody because I want to make him happy? People will count it for me. Oh, she's been married before. Now she's going into another one. No, she's going into another one. The problem is parenting most of the times. We get all of those things at home. But when this thing comes, when an abuser abuses, we don't talk about what has happened to their upbringing. We talk about them, the monster in them, such a wicked man, such a wicked lady. We don't talk about what has happened to their foundation. A lot has happened, but we don't look at that. Now, if you are so used to being abused at home, if your mom has abused your dad severally, it becomes normal. It becomes normal thing. Now you have to be thinking, it will change, let me endure it. But if you have recognized that that's not a life, that's not how it should be done. Now you have worked on yourself to be a better person. So even if you are in that state of abuse, you can easily call for help.
Yeah.
So if there is anyone listening to us right now, what are the steps that you need to take? First of all, that is why I would always say, always have something doing as a lady. That's another thing that is tying a lot of people down. How will I even survive a day if I don't have money? How will I even survive a day? And I tell people, it's a no. Don't ever come and say I'm staying there because of my kids. No. Aggressiveness is a learned behavior. Violence, kids can learn it from you. So your female child is growing up to know that abuse is normal, and your male child is growing up to know that it's okay to be the woman. That's what you're doing. Don't ever say who is going to train them. try, because it's going to be generational. Because if they don't realize it on time that no, this is not a normal life now, this is not a normal upbringing, they will grow up to the. You hear what that guy said? He said, "My daddy told me it's okay to beat a woman."
It's a woman, yeah.
Imagine that. I have someone who they've been married for 15 years, but sometimes at home they don't talk for 4 months, they don't talk for 6 months, they don't talk for 7 months. And now the kids, when they're having problems with their mom, they can decide not to talk to mom for 1 month to
because
3 months.
They've role modeled it to them.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that mentality of because of my children, no, you are damaging them. Don't ever say because of my children. What are the steps that you need to take? If that person realizes that they need help, get a counselor. Before now, we run to our pastors. People go to their pastors.
Yeah.
And the reason why a lot of people are limiting that, and I'm not faulting pastors here because I'm in the midst of pastors' wives, I have to be careful. The reason why a lot of people are not going to their pastors now is when pastors are preaching, sometimes they want to back up their preachings with some examples. They want to back it up. You go for counseling, they want to back it up. Some pastors are not smart enough to know how to coin that thing so that you will not be able to guess.
Who
I'm talking about this auntie. I'm talking
Oh.
about this lady. Now, we can put 1 or 2 things together and look, maybe they are talking about Sister Balaji. They know. Some people are scared. Some pastors will even go on the altar and sing expressly. And people would know who they are talking about. People don't want no matter how we put this, the stigma, we know people still operate on that level of, oh my God, the stigma. Oh, they know my husband is beating me. Oh, they know my that stigma is still there. People don't want their stories flying around. And that is why a lot of people, they still, I will just be calm until it gets out of hand. They don't open up. So talk to trusted person. Get a counselor. Go for therapy.
Yeah.
If it's not ready to change, the Bible supports separation.
You can be praying from the separation place.
Yes. It's okay. It's okay to if we cannot be under the same roof, it's okay to step aside. At least let's see what we can do. If we can come back together, get help and come back together. I just want my auntie to talk. That's what I'm trying to
yes. Thank you. Wow, those are awesome steps. We're still going to go there. Yes, Damilola, sorry, we've kept you just sitting here not talking. I'm not sure if is your picture static or you're able to talk?
I think she's frozen
I don't
again.
think the network
Frozen again. Why does when it's time to talk that she's frozen?
The next time she comes, anyone who is talking
we'll just get her. Okay, are those all the steps, or did you want to share any other step? Before you even share more, somebody said something here. Bisola said, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? I so agree, and I love the steps that you gave, because and also even when you talk to your pastor, I believe even the place of professional, going to a professional, you don't have to rule it out, because sometimes there are some things that they know professionally that maybe we might not even be able to give you.
Yeah.
So, like someone was saying, that if your pastor is not maybe a professional counselor, it's okay to go to somewhere that is a professional.
Okay.
It's fine. All we want is that you get help.
Exactly.
All we want is that the other person gets help.
Exactly.
That is all that we're after. And so far as you get help, then there's not going to be a problem there. Okay, I think she's back again. Damilola, I think you're back now. Hopefully are you still with us? Because your picture keeps going up and down. I want to say thank you so much to everyone that is joining us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yes, very true. Pray from separation corner. Thank you. It's so important. So you are a single lady, and with all this saga going on, oh, this person beat his wife, the wife died. What are your, and I remember just hearing that thing that marriage is I was saying that marriage is still a good thing. What are your thoughts on all of this? Let's hear your thoughts on all of this. If you're able to talk. Can you even hear me?
I think the network is bad.
Yeah, her network is giving issues.
I can hear you, ma.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on all of this? What are your thoughts on marriage and all of this? As a single lady, what are your own thoughts on this? No, that network is it's really giving.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yeah, we can hear you. We
Yes.
can hear you. Go ahead. Go on. Go on. Go on. We can hear you, but your picture is acting very funny. So I'm not sure if you can hear us. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wanted us to give her, the single lady's perspective, because I can imagine a lot of them are starting to feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even step into it. But someone said something there that if the foundation is so key, and us even talking about a Christian marriage, I believe we still need to go back to that foundation,
Yeah.
because when we look at the foundation, and you said something, another thing that is key, train our children, because I was sharing with us a couple of days ago that in my house I have three boys who are the first, and thank God I had them first before I had my daughter. When I had my boys, I remember from age of 5 years old, I'll put the stool at the sink and say, you will wash plates. I have three boys. I'm not going to be the one that is going to be doing all the work in this house. Sorry. Because me growing up, I saw my brother. I had just a brother, but I will always be in the kitchen. My brother will always be watching TV. Nobody would tell him, come and do this, come in the kitchen. Nobody. And I thought, why? Why must they be telling my brother not to do that? And they're telling me, come into the
To
kitchen.
do
And
this.
so when I began to raise my sons, I said, no, no, you're gonna know how to wash the toilet, you're gonna know how to cook. All my boys can even cook better than my daughter.
Mm.
So I was very intentional about that. I'm coming back to this because I believe, and why am I sharing this? The other day, my daughter was, sometimes her eldest brother is turning 19 and she's 11. So sometimes he'll do something and she'll just smack him or she'll just hit him. I said to her, no smacking is allowed. And when they want to smack her back, I tell them, no. You begin to learn how to train, how to deal with your wife from the house. If you start getting used to smacking your sister, guess what? When you go out, it'll be easy for you to smack another person's daughter. And so why am I saying that? You mentioned intentional parenting. So I believe that from the house as well, us parents, and no matter what we might have been taught in the past, we need to also pay attention to treating our sons and our daughters the same way. Let's not treat the boys like you are a boy, you don't need to know about these things. Let's watch the way they treat. If you have a daughter and a son, let's watch the way our sons treat our daughters. Because, like you said, role modeling, I think, is the biggest part.
Yeah.
If we go back to these guys, Osinachi's husband's past, you will see that maybe in his home, maybe some things were going on there that we might not
I
even.
can I can practically tell you that something went wrong, but the
Yes,
truth is we don't care about what has gone wrong.
yes.
We want to deal with the monster in him, and that's why we are all criticizing, and
Mm,
that's the
mm,
problem. But the truth is, if you go to his foundation, environmental influence, all of
mm,
those influence would have influenced his behavior to that extent. If we start
mm,
digging, you will understand that no, it did not
mm.
grow up to be like that.
Yeah,
Something has happened,
has
but we
happened.
don't. Yeah, something has happened to the foundation.
And so we must look at the foundation. The foundation, even before you get married,
Yeah.
that's one big one. Before we even go there at all, our foundation. And as I was saying, almost married 30 years. Fine, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But when the
Definitely.
foundation is secure, guess
Mm,
what? What you are going to be building, we stand.
mm.
But when the foundation is not secure,
Then what can the righteous do?
that is it. And so now the righteous will now begin to pray and fast and pray and stay there and suffer the abuse. And so it now just escalates. So let's talk about the way forward. We are having issues with Damlala's network, but let's talk about the way forward. So out of all of this that is going on now, I'll start with Isaiah. What do you think, is the way forward? What can we do as parents, as encouraging other women that are going through, but might not even be able to? How do we stop stigmatizing even women that come out of abusive not even abusive, that come out of marriages that did not work? How do we, because sometimes we stigmatize ourselves. You mentioned it. Someone say, Stabology are talking about that. We start to look at Stabology with one kind of eyes. Like she doesn't know how to handle her marriage. Is it because God has helped you with yours? How
Exactly.
do we do with this, man?
Thank you so much. So when we talk about foundation, we're talking about parental influence. We're talking about so many things that actually impact us, as a woman, as the female gender. Okay. But I would like to say that as a female gender, the first thing that should happen to you is, how do you see yourself? Most of the time, we're pushed to get married so that the man can complete us or we can complete the
Hmm.
man. But I want to tell you, by the grace of God, if you are not enough in yourself as somebody created by God, you know, to know that your worth is not in your qualification. Your worth is not tied to the man you are married to. Your worth is not tied to your achievement. You are royalty. You are a daughter of Zion. God created you. I love Psalm 139 so much. God knitted you with his hand. It's like all these bags that people, Louis Vuitton these days. If you have one, if you had one, you will cherish it because maybe you bought it. A friend of mine just bought one for $4,000.
They're
How would,
ridiculously priced.
yeah, how would you treat your LV
Hmm.
bag? Well, we are much more.
Than
So, how
that.
do you treat yourself as a woman? How do you perceive yourself? So, the first thing is if you didn't know yourself, by the grace of God, I've got my book out, Unravel the Mystery of You. Who are you?
Yeah.
Or is it, or do you think you are what the society? For me, I can't stop sharing my story. When my parents gave birth to me, the first label my father gave me is Koforum because I happen to be the third child, girl child in the family. So it's like you can't really amount to anything. You can't be educated. But God gave me academic ability like no man's business. And my father didn't even cope with that, even till his death.
Hmm.
And so, who are you in Christ?
Hmm.
So, do we understand that we have been purchased by the blood? Do we know how precious? Do you even see yourself as being precious? Do you treat your I can say sometimes when I have when we have gist because my covenant sister Pastor Labody, sometimes we can just be on a call where we are I shouldn't don't let us leak our secret. We can talk for 2 hours and we talk about these things that are you really confident in who you are? Do you even know who you are? Like our sister said, because somebody was wealthy, somebody was from an influential home, and it was giving, it was generous, financially, but it was smacking, it was making an attempt to smack her. So it means that I'm going to receive the beating of my life for the rest of my life. No, I deserve more than this. I deserve more than this. So, do you know what you are worth? Because if you know what you are worth, you stop giving people discounts.
Hmm.
So, it does not really matter what I was still
I love
joking with.
that. If you know what you are worth, you stop giving people discounts.
You stop giving people discounts. I was still joking with my husband yesterday when I went to introduce him to my father. Because my father is like a social person with so many friends drinking. My husband is this quiet, soft, butterish person that
Hmm.
we just sit there. My father didn't really like him. Don't bring somebody who is antisocial to my house. And one thing my husband, even when we went to visit, if I move a step, my husband will follow me. My dad said, "Why is he following you?" But that was the person that I knew, you know, appreciate my worth. It doesn't really matter what my father thought. Even his profession is a nurse. And my uncles look straight into my house. You want to marry a nurse? Hey, it's like, who is he academically? Please leave him for me. I am happy, with that. So it's like, a status thing, a class thing. This is the case, that you should get married. We have all those. But who do you think you are? Do we really take time to unravel who we are? And if you have not started on that journey, if you have not started on that journey, for people like us, we didn't know all this. We didn't have all these opportunities. There's so much information now that you can actually make
Yeah.
use of
Yeah.
to make yourself better, to make yourself grounded, to know who you. I was sharing with my friend yesterday. I said, then I knew what I wanted. It has not changed now. By the grace of God, I'm going to be 54. I still know what for me. Oh, I am for our marriage is good. We have that. What what
Personally,
personally?
yeah.
Where do I want to see myself in 5 years, in 10 years? Then I've got my dreams, I've got my goals. My husband has his, so we come together. Okay, maybe we need to attend to this before we attend to this. So that is how it works. It's not like you come into that like we're being brainwashed, we are being conditioned. You come into that. I mean, you were talking about pastor's wife. Please don't say you need to behave yourself. We have our own issues too.
I was just kidding.
We have our own issues too. You are being brainwashed. You are the mother of, like somebody like me. I'm the mother of the whole of New Zealand. I need to look after everybody. Look after the church. Look after the parishes. Look after the pastors. Look after the Westminster.
And
Look
you have
after
to look after you.
your own
It's a
children.
lot.
Now, my question that I started asking our
Mhm.
seniors is, who looks after me?
Yeah. And
Who
that
looks
goes to
after
a lot
me?
of women. Who looks after you?
So
Yeah.
you are being abused. You are being abused because we are talking about expectation, lofty expectation about there was a time I was continuously ill because I was chewing more than I could bite, or how did the English people say it? Until I caught myself. Thank God, I started coaching. Until I caught myself, the woman said, I look at you, look after everybody. But what about you? So that is the
That's why
brainwash.
the discovery, sorry, ma, the discovery has to be before marriage. Because if you're
Yes,
dealing with a narcissist,
Hmm.
you are going to be in the biggest trouble. Achieving
Yeah.
those goals will be so
They
difficult.
won't even let you
They
achieve
won't
it.
even let you do it.
Yeah. I agree. I
they won't
agree.
let you. Yeah. So if you have been conditioned to be the nice girl, you cannot talk back. When I was growing up, I was always asking questions. I was always challenging my dad. There are nobody like that. Bolomo Itiwa, where did this girl come from? You know, I didn't like injustice. I asked questions. Some of those questions were not, even in the church, I ask questions now. I tell them, please don't bring that religious stuff to me. One day I told one, I said, you can't be using bread to be eating my stew anymore. Don't, don't, bring that. Don't bring that. Oh, because when we are talking about abuse, it's at so many levels. Even
Yes.
with Pastor
This is just a
Emotional,
Labode,
piece of it. Yeah.
your
psychological, a lot of
children,
it.
we have grown up children. If you are not very careful, your grown
They
up
would
children will
abuse you.
abuse you. They begin to manipulate you
Yeah.
because they know. Take, for example, we're immigrants here, my families, my sisters are not here. Sometimes they know that you are all they have. And if you are not careful, I'm going to use one word now. Set your boundaries. Learn how to set boundaries.
Hmm.
Learn how to say no. In your home, say no. If you are not comfortable with something, I train my children. I was still sharing yesterday. Our middle child is very soft, like my husband, quiet. She walks away from trouble. And because of that, a lot of people, even our siblings, was going to be taken her for granted. So I had to stand behind her. You have to say no to violence. I know you are soft, I know you are gentle, but stand up. Look at the person who is trying to harass you. Say no, that is not allowed. But we're not being taught to say no.
Can you see that, man? That comes from the home. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Imagine somebody not getting that and then getting into that kind of relationship.
yeah.
How do they handle it?
Can
Is
we see if Damilola can
Yeah,
talk
that's
now?
what I'm trying to see if she's Damlala. And then she
My
disappeared. I
God.
know her network is anyway. We have to bring this to a wrap. There is so much that we can't even finish. Let's just briefly, as we close up, let's just talk about the way forward. And okay, I want you to just repeat those points that you mentioned earlier, just those 3-4 points that you mentioned, because I believe they are very, very key to somebody even still there right now in a form of abuse. So, and we want to say this. This doesn't stop. Like you can be a Christian, you cannot be a Christian. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter because this person that went through this, we can see was a Christian. So there are things that sometimes they overrule. It's just happening to you because you're a human being. Where a Christian marriage is meant to be different, but some people are more religious than they have a relationship with God. And so you have to know the difference. If you're in a relationship with someone that they have a religion with God, they don't have a relationship. They're just in a they're just religious. Then they're not really going to follow the dictates of the Bible. And so if you're in that kind of relationship, you need to know that you're going to have to take some steps. So let's take Gamela first, and then I'm going to get you to repeat those few steps that you mentioned, because I think that they are very, very important.
Okay, so
she's
coming
able
back
to
again. Okay.
I know her network.
So for the sake of the singles that might be listening to me or that would probably come back and listen to me, I talked about the stages of relationship. We shouldn't forget the stages of relationship. Don't jump any of those stages. The first one is getting to know each other. That's the intimacy level, getting to know each other, the butterflies flying around, the dating, the eating, the going to the cinema. And the second stage is you're trying to know more, the curiosity stage. You want to know more about this person, and at that stage you're discovering some things. Okay, some things are happening. Okay, will I be able to cope with this? And the third stage, that's the decision making stage. Will I be able to actually live with this person? So that's the stage that a lot of people jump, and they jump to marriage thinking that, don't worry, everything will be fine when we get to marriage. No, that's the most crucial stage, where you have to see, will I be able to work with this? Will I be able to cope with this? Because I tell people, if you see all of those red flags and you invite me for your wedding, please get ready to pay me my Ashwebi back if anything happens, because you saw those things coming, and you allowed me to waste my money to come and attend your wedding, and now after 6 months or 1 year you said you are done. No, you are not going to be done until you give me my money back. And that's what you're saying.
I like that.
You can't be wasting my money because you knew that it's going to be a major problem. But I don't know who is telling people that people would change after marriage. No, you cannot change anybody. People change because they want to change, or maybe because the Holy Spirit is actually helping them to change. Don't ever go into any marriage thinking that it's going to change when the butterflies are supposed to be flying. And again, I need singles to pay attention to this. When you are in a relationship and you have a dispute or conflict to resolve, how that person treats you matters a lot. Pay attention to that. Because when you get into the marriage, that might be a starting point. Pay attention, pay close attention to how you are being treated when there is an issue. That's a major. I talk to a lot of people, and I'm like, how did you even allow this? Those are red flags in marriages. Yes, you are the one doing the calling. You are the one doing the talking. You are the one doing the conflict resolution all the time. When you have problems, you are the one solving it. You are the one begging. You are the one pushing the relationship forward. It would never apologize. It would always have reasons why it would not apologize, because you made him do this. You're going to be in soup. We are not always meant for each other. People need to get that. If it's not going to work, go your way. Let me go my way. Maybe God will provide the person that will stay with you, and they can accommodate all of those things. But for me, I don't think I can cope with it. It's okay to go.
Thank you so much.
It's okay to go. And our parents, please. The Bible says,
stop putting pressure.
Stop putting pressure on us. Husbands are the head. You know what that tells me? And the Bible made me to understand that I'm just an helper. I'm here to help. And what that tells me is there is somebody actively working. Because if I'm here to help, that means there is somebody that is in charge. So I am here to help. So, and if you're in any relationship and you're seeing that, no, you are not the one, you are like the head now. You are the one, you are the head, you are the helper, you are the everything. Don't even go into a marriage with that person. No. You are the only one, you are now the head, where he is supposed to be actively working. Marriage is not 50-50. Marriage is 100-100. That's the only way it's going to work.
That is it. I
And if
love
you're
that.
facing any form of abuse and you cannot talk to people around you because sometimes we put a lot of emotion. I don't like to
Mm.
cancel the people around me too.
It's
My
harder.
sisters, I don't like to do that. Why? Because I go out of professionalism. I want to talk
Yeah.
now out of emotion because I want to, why would you do this to my sister? Why would you do this to my brother? Talk to trusted persons. Go
Yeah.
for counseling. If your pastor's wife is approachable, if she's knowledgeable to handle it, go to them. If your pastor is knowledgeable enough to handle it, go to them. But you don't have to go to them if they don't
And if
have
you don't
that.
even get your answers, then take it further.
Take it
Yeah.
elsewhere. And you know what? If it happens once, it's going to continue. I was listening to a pastor's wife. I can't remember her name. That was the first time ever. And she said her husband did something to her. And, she went back home. She cooked. And after cooking the following morning, she left the house. It's okay to leave. You are not leaving because you don't want him again. Are not leaving because you don't want the marriage again. Because you are fighting that such things should not
Not
continue because it's going to
happen.
aggravate into something bigger, something else. He slapped you once, you are quiet. You treated it like, oh, it's okay to buy you flour and tell you sorry, or probably come back at night and say, okay, can we just, and you think love making is the answer to that? No, it's going to happen again. That's what they do. It will go from one level to another level because you are not going to do anything. They will do it again. They will do it
Wow.
again.
Wow. Wow. There's a lot. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
there's a
I
lot. Yeah.
love that. Thank you for sharing that. Damilala, we are coming to you again. Are you able to speak this
I think
time?
it's clear now.
I think it's okay. If you're able to speak, please go ahead. Let us know. As a single lady, what is your take on this? Knowing what God wants you to do and knowing all of this that you've heard, what is your take on all of this?
Okay. Hello, ma. I think the major thing, can you hear me, ma?
Yeah,
Yes.
loud and clear.
Okay. One of the major problem when it comes to abuse or red flags in relationship is desperation. Most single
Ah,
ladies are actually
She's
desperate to
talking.
get married. More like there's already this template by parents, like after school, marriage is the next thing after school. The next thing is for me to get married. So if I'm not getting married at a specific age, that means there's an issue with me, there's a problem with me. So when people get to certain age, especially when maybe a lady is from 25 years above and she's not married or in a serious relationship, then she start looking for anyone who is available. Then at that point in time, she's not actually looking for values, but she's looking for availability. Anyone who is available to just get married to. Sometimes people feel like once a guy has not actually eaten me or he hasn't beaten me, then that means the guy I can still manage it because there's this mindset in Africa like everyone is managing their homes. So most parents already have this idea they've actually poured into their daughters, like you have to tolerate whatever comes in marriage. So most people already feel like, okay, marriage is meant to be endured. Marriage is meant to be endured. So
No.
since ladies already have this mindset that marriage is meant to be endured. So they would like to like doesn't eat me, it doesn't beat me. But in a situation whereby you're in a relationship with someone and he has issues with everyone around him, that is already a red signal that this person is not someone I can actually spend the rest of my life with. Someone who actually could actually make another person to lose his or her job because they have an issue. That means such a partner has an unforgiving spirit. But most times, ladies are not actually saying this, despite that the writings are on the wall. They are not actually saying this. They believe once the guy is not eating me, once he's not beating me, then I can actually manage. Probably I can change him. And the fact is, we can't actually change anyone in marriage. Like everyone has earlier said, no one can actually change the marriage. Whatever attitude you have, it actually amplifies in marriage. We are not assistant Holy Spirit. I think this is one thing ladies have to note. We are not assistant Holy Spirit. Stop trying to do the work of God. Stop trying to think I can change him, I can change her. And people also have this mindset like one of the reasons ladies also don't want to leave abusive relationships is also because of situations whereby maybe the sex is good. So people already have this mindset like, okay, if the sex is good, then I can manage him. That's a wrong mindset. If you already have, if you feel maybe you can manage someone because the sex is good, then that's a wrong mindset. Will you be having sex every day in your marriage? Will you be having sex 24/7 in your marriage? That's a very big red flag. You can't actually get married to a man because you feel the sex is good. That's a wrong mindset. If you feel okay, another thing again is that people
It's
already
a
feel like
question.
if I don't get married, hello man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Another thing that makes ladies to actually feel they can actually just get married to a man, and in the long run, it results in abusive relationships, is actually you seeing the writings on the wall, but you feel all my mates are married. I want to pepper them gag. I want people to feel I'm also married.
Pay them
That's
with
a
your
big
life.
issue. If you're getting married to people because you want to pepper your friends, the pepper will first enter your eyes. This is one thing people have to take note of. The pepper will first enter your eyes because I want to pepper them. I want to let them know that I'm also beautiful. I can also get married. Maybe probably you're from a home whereby people have told you, people don't get married in your family, people don't get married in your home, and you want to prove them wrong. Then anyone that comes around, you just actually get married to that person because you want to prove people wrong. That is a wrong mindset or a wrong reason to get married. And there's also this thing common with African parents. Whenever they are training ladies, it's more like they are training them for marriage. That's a wrong mindset. It's more like, especially when it comes to the
Mm.
Yoruba, because I'm a Yoruba lady, so I'm trying to use myself also as an example. I had to also caution my mom with that. Whenever they are trying to correct you, they're like, they're telling you not to do a particular thing because you're going to your husband's house. Why don't you correct ladies because you want to correct them? Don't actually make them feel like there's nothing good about them except you're training them for their husband. That's a wrong mindset. You're not training ladies for matrimonial homes alone. No, you're training them for them to be good citizens, for them to be good ambassadors, for them to be useful from
Mm.
themselves, for the society, before even thinking of getting married. Most women already feel like whatever training I'm giving to you is because I want you to be a good wife. That's a wrong mindset. So that means every training you're training your girl child or your daughter is just for her to be a good wife. So this mindset to make ladies feel like everything I'm doing right now, it's not really necessary. I don't really have to I don't really have to be a person of value. I don't need to build capacity because every education I have or
Wow.
everything I'm adding, every value I'm adding to myself, I'm still going to end up in a man's house. So that means everything I'm going to do will actually be meaningless or be useless. Then in quotes, because I'll still end up in a man's house. So, like an example, I was also on the
Wow.
site in
Thank
my
you for
home
all those
case.
powerful
Also,
points you shared.
I was in a relationship with someone. I was in a relationship with someone, and this person has never hated me. He has never beaten me. So, but I noticed that everyone in the place where he stays, he has issue with everyone in this compound. He claims this one has an issue. This one has this particular attitude. That one has this particular attitude. So I was like, why is it that you are the only one having issues with everyone in your compound? That's another red flag most people don't pay attention to. Someone already has issue with everyone where he stays, and you feel it's just having an issue. No, that means the person has a problem. That means the person has a problem. Someone that already has an issue where you're living, you don't have a good rapport with anyone there. You have issues with everyone in the house where you stay. It's a big bedroom. He has a separate toilet. You're not sharing bedroom or toilet with anyone. But because you're staying in the same compound with people, you already have issues with everyone in that compound. You feel this one does not behave in a certain way. You want everyone to behave your own kind of way. It's a wrong mindset. Such a man will never allow you grow because he will always want you to do things according to his own mindset. He will always want you to do things according to his own way.
Hmm.
He
I
will
think.
always want you to do things according to
Okay.
his own way, according to his
Hmm.
own
Those still come back to
mindset, according
foundation.
to his own values.
Yeah. We have a question here.
Yes, I wanted us to take that question. We need to round off. I can't believe we've done over an hour, but there's still so much. But yeah, okay. Thank you, Damla. I can see it back. Thank you for those awesome points that you shared. A lot of the and I think this is even speaking to us parents. Parents, we need to just also look at how we are raising. We can see this our girls and our boys, like our children, so that we don't have a hand when they go into the marriage, for example. So it's more like almost like what I was saying about raising them as as people of value. Having a sense of value is the first thing before you are thinking you are raising them for somebody else. Can you imagine? You are raising me for somebody else. What about me as a person? I should have value. So this person is saying here, how can you help friends who are going through abuse and they don't want or are not ready to leave? Or maybe they don't even know how to leave. We'll answer this question and then we would we would round up with that. So then I said, how do you think we can approach this, man? I'll ask you and I'll ask okay, she will also mention a point.
Thank you so much. I can see there is an issue with choice here. This person has chosen not to
To
leave.
stay. Hmm.
She has chosen to stay because it says they don't want to. So what is preventing you?
Hmm.
Is it because you don't have your own finances sorted? Is it because what is the reason that is stop? We need to know because it's not a one size fit all because we don't
Hmm.
know who this person, we don't know, the barriers to her living. Is she afraid that if she decides to leave, the man will kill her? Well,
Yeah.
maybe that may be, but I don't think there's any genuine reason for you to continue to stay in an abusive relationship. So I don't know how we can help somebody. Pastor Labode has been in that situation where you have helped somebody,
Yeah.
to actually, the government even helped the person and they went back. So you can, I think I won't be able to speak to this. There's a choice.
There's
So
a choice.
unless this person is able to examine the choice that she has made and why, if we know why she has made this choice, is it because of the church? Like we're saying, is it at a time
What people will say. Hmm.
we have a women's leader who was divorced, and some people were not happy with that. At the time, she wasn't even happy. She was calling me, "Mom, I need to step down." I said, "Nobody put you there. God put you there. Remain there." He said,
Hmm.
"Mom, I need to step down." I said, "Am I the one that says you should step down?" He said, "No." So where is this lack of confidence or lack
Hmm.
of worthlessness? Where's it coming from?
Hmm.
So there's so many reasons that could be responsible for this person. I'm saying choice because I'm a social worker. I can't help you. I can't empower you if you are not willing to be
Yeah.
helped. You have choice is very powerful. It's
And
very
actually, man, sorry to cut you. And I see that even in the case of even Osinachi, we
yeah.
saw the part that Choice played in there. All those people knew about it, all those accomplices. They could not help her because she would always go on her knees and say, "Don't tell this. Don't tell." She made that choice of not living, even when the children were so beaten and everything. She made and look at where the choice ended up. So that person, just talking about it, to that person, you never know where this choice will lead you to.
Mhm.
I know that it's a mental thing as well for them to even
Yeah, that's what I want to say. The trauma
leave.
too.
The
Sometimes it's a
trauma,
mental thing that
yes.
I'm not
Hmm.
going to leave. And
Yes.
one thing I want to say again is we can have love and abuse in one
In
person.
one
That's
person.
another
Hmm.
major reason why some people feel, oh, this part of him is good. It's just this part of him. It's
Hmm.
just the abusive part of him. This part of him is good. And that can be very, very confusing too. I have someone that follows me on Facebook. I have typed this thing. I could tell you now more than 3 times. I would type and I will erase it again. I will type and I will erase
Hmm.
it again. I attended their wedding about 22 years ago. I was still very young. I attended their wedding. He follows me on Facebook. He's not my he's not the wife is not my sister. But she's a cousin. I'm far relative, I would say. He follows me on Facebook. He will comment with Bible verses. He will post with Bible verses. He will
Hmm.
do all of those things with Bible verses. They have been married for 22 years, if I'm not mistaken. He still
Jesus.
beats this woman. The family, they have tried everything for her to leave.
Wow. Wow.
When it comes to trying to establish her, they have tried everything. The sister, she has tried everything. Their mom is late now, so it's just the dad. And polygamous home, the dad don't really, he doesn't really care
You don't
about
really
them
get
like that.
involved.
So I wouldn't like, they've tried everything for this lady. She's not leaving just
Hmm.
because of one soft part of this guy. Love and abuse in the same person. So
Wow.
sometimes it's that trauma, that mindset of, I think, you know, it's just once in a while he beats and slaps me, but the last one he did to this lady, he chewed like completely destroyed her finger like this with his mouth. Is that bad?
No.
And she's still there. You know what I wanted
No.
to type one day? Because she follows me on Facebook, I wanted to
No.
type it one day that please, everybody, just help me comment, stop beating your wife. Stop beating your, because we have tried everything for this lady to leave. She's not ready to leave. Now, how can you help someone who is in an abusive relationship? The first thing is to be empathic.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
You have to really calm down and make yourself like, just try. Show them love on the extreme so that they can come down and tell you what they are loving, what the trauma is. They can tell you you know they abuse them physically, but what about the things that is tying them down? You need to know all of those things. If it's because if I leave my husband's house today, I have paid somebody to travel out of Lagos to go to somewhere else because the husband told her that he was going to kill her. Then when she dies, then she will see a poster on the faces of newspaper that she's dead, that he killed her. I'm like, okay, if it's gotten to this point, what can I do? How can I help you? How can I help you? And she told me, and I did. All I could do is financial assistance. I gave it to her. He has changed now, and it changed because there is a discovery. He has a problem. Now he's a better person. You see? But it's still a choice and will that she still wants to be with him. But I have done my part. Maybe you need to talk to that friend
Maybe
first.
she can learn. Yeah.
Maybe you need to talk to that friend. It could be because of money, financial assistance. It could be how is it going to feel. I talked about one person that I dated that tried to commit suicide 2 times. He's still alive now. He didn't die, but he's beating his wife. But I cannot, like, I can't come and make my own life miserable because I want somebody. It could be because of, he's going to kill himself. You know how those guys manipulate you. They manipulate you. They've created that fear in you. If you leave me, I'm going to die. But yet, they are not changing. This topic is a very long topic.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is. God will help us.
Yeah.
It is. It is. But two things are as we and I want us to say. I want all of us to just give last words in like a minute each. But one thing I just wanted to mention for people that are not yet in marriage, singles, I just like you emphasized earlier on, is that my pastor was telling me something years ago. I remember he said to me, before you get married, open your eyes very well.
Yeah. Love is not blind, honestly.
Even if it's blind,
love is blind
marriage
to not to this, not to red flags.
No. And don't ignore the red flags. We've spoken about that. We cannot even overemphasize. So singles, you are still out there. You still have that choice of choosing whether to marry a person or not. Begin to watch that person's behavior. This is my own last word. Begin to watch this person's behavior. Is it the kind of person I want my children to even grow up as? Is it the kind of role model I want to see? The little things, begin to watch. And as you commit it to God in prayer, I also pray, I always say that, Lord, if this is not your will for me, even if you are in love with this person, do whatever you have to do to scatter this marriage. If it's not, if you find that you cannot for yourself step out of the relationship, ask God to scatter the relationship by himself. He should find a way. And also make yourself accountable to other people. Let them also watch, people that are close, you also watch the relationship to make sure that you are actually choosing right. Like you said, trusted people around us. Because a broken courtship is still always better than a broken marriage. Okay. Damilola, are you here? Are you able
Yes,
to?
I am.
Okay, what are your last words? I know you didn't really have time to talk, but what are your last words? Give us your last
Okay,
words.
I'll leave him with this last word. The fact is, when it comes to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. When it comes to relationship, you have to be sincere with yourself. It's time to tell yourself if you're in a relationship with someone and you've noticed
Network. Okay. Okay.
if
Let's go to
there is
let's.
no
Mommy.
change.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. You're back. You're back. This network will fight you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do your last word. Then we go to
Okay.
Stabuki. Yes.
It's all about being sincere with oneself. As a child, as a single lady, sincerity comes to place. Like now, you have to be sincere with yourself. Every trait or every trait or every attitude I'm saying in my partner, is it something that I can actually endure? Is it something that I can overlook? Because there's certain things you
Accommodate.
can't overlook. You have to come to a situation whereby a place whereby you can actually talk to certain people, maybe like a mentor or your spiritual leaders. Tell them about certain things you've been noticing in your relationship. Talk to them, be honest and sincere with them. Okay, this is a particular things I've been noticing in my partner. I don't know if there's possibility of this person changing or not. Let them be honest with you, because sometimes we may not be able to see those things. Those people might be able to see certain things that you are not seeing. For example, because just like when they talk about love, when ladies are especially in love, there are certain things they are not able to see. Their eyes are actually
Yeah.
True,
clouded.
Yeah. A
So there are
lot.
certain things they are
true.
not able to see. So you need people that can actually see these things on your behalf. You need to share with yourself. Like, okay, this is where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Who are those people I can talk to and they can be honest with me? They can actually see this person beyond the surface. But and also you have to also be sincere with yourself. If there are anything you're doing in that relationship that you know they are not right, maybe it's not, because most times we are more about the other person than also looking at ourselves. Even as ladies, we also have to be sincere with ourselves. What are those attributes or things in me that are not right? Because most of the time we attract who we are. You have to be sincere with yourself. What are those things I'm also exhibiting, those traits, those attitudes I'm exhibiting that are not right, that I also need to work on, that I need to talk to God about? Because there are certain things you need to talk to God about. If you don't talk to God about it and you're not also the right person, God may not be willing to bring the right person to you, because God will not be able to trust you with his sons. God will not be able to trust a lady who is not responsible or who cannot be a good mother with his right sons. No. So you also have to be sincere with yourself. God, what are those habits or those attitudes I'm also exhibiting that I really need to work on? Like God should open your eyes to them. This comes from a place of sincerity, self-reflection. Don't just be about you alone. When it comes to avoiding abuse in relationship that leads to abuse in marriage, not ignoring the red flags. It comes from a place of sincerity, self-reflection. Talk to people about it. Also, be honest with yourselves. And also, another thing I would like to say lastly is start to write. If you don't have a list of what you desire in your future husband, it's time to write it out. Write it out. What are those things I don't want? What are those things I want? Once you have a list of those things you don't want, you'll be able to pick it out. Once you see those signs in your partner, like, no, I don't want this. Maybe the person actually threatens you or looks down on you. You're able to say, no, these are the things I don't want. You're already taking it like, I don't want it. But if you're not aware of those things you don't want, how will you be able to know those things you really desire or those things that are right? But I think it's time for ladies to also be sincere with themselves. What are those things I don't want in a partner? And also the final word, because I'm just using those words. I'm saying the final words. When it comes to premarital sex is a big issue when it comes to relationship. Premarital sex has actually made many people not to be able to live an abusive partner, because most ladies are like, I've done, maybe for instance, a lady that has had series of abortion for a man will find it difficult to leave such a partner. So this is why we need to also be sincere with ourselves. Don't involve in premarital sex or sins that will make you feel like you can't leave a man or you can't actually live an abusive relationship. And if you're in that state, this is not the end. God still loves you. You still have values. Don't, because you've actually done certain things with a man or you've actually indulged in certain things, because of that, feel you need to get married to him. No, you don't have to get married to someone who is an abusive partner because of certain things you've indulged in. No, that is not the end of you. There's so much about you that God still wants to do. There's so much about you. There's so much values about you that the world are even still waiting for. Don't actually risk all this, all because you want to be with a man who is not right for you. An abusive relationship is not right for you. You want more than that. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. Before I take step bouquet, I think somebody said here that somebody said, I think in my opinion, sometimes I've loved ones, we can literally intervene and take them from that toxic environment since they are not in the right mental state. I don't think it's
You
possible. The
can't
person doesn't want to
forcefully
leave.
take anybody.
You
It has to do with
cannot.
choice too. As long as
Yes.
they are above 18, there are
Yeah.
limits to
Yeah.
whatever you can do.
That's what I expected.
You
Yeah.
can't do more than helping them, showing
Mm,
them the love they want. If they need financial assistance, be there for them. If they need government intervention and you have one or two connections, connect them,
mm,
and that's it. You cannot take anybody out of. You can't force them out.
I
Can't.
agree. Okay, last words from you.
Okay.
Phoebe's
Thank you
love
so
haven.
much. This topic is actually, it's a lot of things. I'm going
Yeah.
to pick from what she said, and I think I mixed that out.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we are in love, we don't see a lot of things. The butterflies are covering our eyes, we are not seeing. It is the people around you that will probably point out one or two things. I wrote that on Facebook sometimes ago. Do not neglect. Now, you're
Mm,
not taking people's opinion that that's what you're going to go with, but you can do your due diligence and see what exactly is going on with this person. Why is this person telling me not to interact with anybody? Don't talk to this person. Don't talk to this person. Don't. The biggest red flags. That's the biggest red flag. Now, let's cap it up all.
mm,
Me as a person, as a relationship coach, and as a minister in church, my first option is not leave. The reason is I believe so much in Christ. I believe that God can do anything. I believe that He's a faithful God, is the God of second chance. I believe in, if the person realizes that they need help, I believe they can seek for help.
mm,
I believe in that. My first bet is not divorce. My
mm-mm.
first bet is not just go your way. Go. No, sometimes these people, they need prayers. Sometimes they need counselors. We need to talk. If there is a need for separation, it's okay. But my best bet is not just go and pack your load and go. So if you're listening to me right now,
Yeah.
as a man or as a woman, because we are toxic too. We have lots of women breaking their men,
Yeah.
destroying their homes by
Don't
their
even
hands.
start on that.
They can tear the whole room apart and destroy everywhere in
Yeah.
1 minute. And you expect a man that is not so, that cannot really curtail his anger to not, he will raise his hand and do something. So if you're abusing too, seek help.
Yeah.
God is a God of second chance.
Yeah.
If God has given you that privilege of coming together, I believe you can do something. Maybe Osinachi's husband would have gotten the help that he needed. But the fear was so much in her. Don't tell this one. Don't tell that one. Don't talk to this person. The kids must not say anything at church. That's the problem. But if you have done all of these evil things before to your spouse, God is a God of second chance.
Yeah.
He's willing and able to give you the chance to talk about it, to see a counselor, to pray. Prayer works. Prayer is
Works
paramount. I don't push
wonders.
prayers away, but at the same time, as I am praying, there are steps to so many things too. So, what are we saying? Abuse is a no of any kind, of any form. Theirs is emotional abuse. You are in a house with a woman, you don't talk to her, you don't make love with her. What do you want her to do to her body when she needs you? She's not helping it. It's biological. The body will call for it. What are you doing? Those are emotional abuse. You use your mouth to tear them down and say so many things. Those are emotional abuse. This happens a lot in Christian homes. A lot of men are dying. A lot of pastors are dying. They cannot leave their wife. She's treating them so bad. She wouldn't give them good food, good sex, nothing. She's not always there for them. They can't do nothing because I'm a pastor. And you know what? What is going to happen to my ministry? If you're listening to me, please, God is the God of second chance. Come back. Take a step forward. Analyze it. Talk about it. If you are in the marriage already. If you're not in the marriage already, don't ignore the stage of decision making. If it's not going to work, perfect. Good. Go your way. I go my way. There is no pressure anywhere. I don't care about Mrs. Lagbaja or Mrs. Lagbaja. I don't care whatever Mrs. And one thing I would love to say is don't ever compare your life with anybody. Don't compare your marriage with anybody. This too causes a lot of abuse. That's why I said
Yeah.
this thing is so big.
So big. Yeah.
The fact that somebody is 100 years in marriage does not mean you should pray that your marriage should be like theirs. No. I would
But you don't
appreciate
you
God
don't
in
know
your
what's
life and
happening inside.
celebrate the grace that the Lord has given to you. Oh, thank you, Jesus. But the fact is, I would never want my marriage to be like yours. Even if I live in the same house with you, I know what you do in the living room. I don't know what you do in the bedroom to
Yeah.
yourself. So I can never be like yours. I'm going to write it down, just like what she said. This is how I want my marriage to be. That's another form of abuse. Look at so person. Look at that so
Mm.
person. Look at what they are doing. A lot of things. It's a big topic. But for now, I would say if you're in a relation, if you're married already, seek help. God
Yeah.
can still restore that man.
Yeah.
God can
Yeah.
still restore that woman. I
Yeah.
don't rule that out. That's my best
Mhm.
bet when I'm
Mhm.
counseling or when I'm coaching. We still always look for
Yeah.
solution. But if it's unresolvable, if the person is not seeing it as they have problems, then go. Go. There is no place in the Bible where the man killed his wife and God said, stay there because no place. There is
Mm.
no place in the Bible. The Bible says we should flee from every appearance of evil. Beating is evil.
Yes,
Emotional
sir.
abuse
It
is
is.
evil.
It is. It is.
Killing me, tearing me down every day is evil. So
Mm.
I would say we look for help. If it's unresolvable, go your
Mm.
separate way. But if you are in a relationship, don't jump all the stages. And you don't have to marry that person just because you committed abortion once. God is willing to take you back. The
Mm.
fact that that person schooled you, that person sent you to school or helped you educationally, that doesn't mean you have to marry them when you know you're abusive. That's another one. A lot of people are tied down because their parents have put a lot of responsibility on them. They go to a man for survival, for clothing, for anything. So when the time comes to them marrying, I must marry him because he has helped me. No. You want me to pay you back? I'll pay you back.
But
But
not
for my
in
life to
marriage.
be on standby because I want to be miserable for the rest of my life and make you happy for the rest of your life is not going to happen. Go, live. And this is my submission today. I pray that the Lord would help us all to make right choices for the little
Amen.
one. And
Amen.
for we that we are married, I pray that the grace of God would always be sufficient for us to carry
Amen.
our marriage,
Amen.
to that place, enjoying the paradise on earth in
Mm.
our homes. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
That's my
Thank you
submission.
so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Dr. Adesanya will have you as
All
we
right.
close it out, ma.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Thank
We're
you.
we're talking about Christian homes.
Yeah.
We're talking about Christian marriage here. And so, like I said, the first thing is we need to be Christ-like. So the first question that you are going to ask yourself before you find a partner or before somebody finds you, are you Christ-like? Are you of God? Are you in Christ? Another thing that we need to know is that marriage is about loving one another. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. So it means I need to love myself and also love you. I can't hate myself while I am loving you. Another thing we need to remember is we are brought, together to serve one another. We're servant leaders. So if you're a servant, and the other person is Oga Pata Pata. We are aware of male privilege. We've talked about it extensively, how we bring up our children. By the grace of God, my mother was not like that. The time I was growing up, she had one son, and it grilled my brother. No, 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 no. My brother could grind pepper with. Even I became the Cinderella of the house because he was doing everything for me. If we're going out to fetch water, oh yeah, me fair, well, iron my clothes.
Wow.
I became, like the Cinderella. I didn't know, otherwise that maybe in some houses, the boys will sit down where my mother was. No, 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 no. He even, I was sharing with people that even in my house, when our cousins came to live with us, we had our responsibility to cook every week. It's Adesayo's turn to cook this. The week that I was cooking, everybody will expect bad food. No, they have. I will make the amala. There will be cocoa in it.
There'll be
And
lumps in it.
yes, there will be lumps in it. But you look at my cousin Fumilayo will sit down, cook the soup very well. Yeah, the sermon. But I didn't know how to do those things. But I can't remember how I managed to survive, in that setting. And that's why some people say my mother really spoiled me. So I don't really know that. But when we are talking about love, what is love? So, like I said, the foundation is still First Corinthians 13. It says, you
Yeah.
know, love envieth not. It does not charity vaunteth not itself, not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh
Mhm.
no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. So when we are talking about love, I don't know what we mean. We are so caught up in romantic love. For somebody like me, I didn't have that romantic love like that.
But I love it romantic though.
Ah, hey, it's
I'm just
romantic. It's good, though.
I
it's
think
part
we
of
need
my
we
list.
need
You
both
have
of
to be
them.
romantic.
We
You are
need
not
both.
romantic. You can't
Don't
do
let
that.
me bring my 90 because by the time I was sharing with you, I had roses, I had chocolate, I had the best of snacks, brought for me from Ojuelega, but I was still shining my eyes. My husband will be there, my boyfriend will be going to work every morning. He will come to my house to see me.
So maybe you
And
just didn't know it was romantic. It was in a
what
form.
so
It
it
was.
was
Yeah.
romantic, but that doesn't mean that when I had to, make a call about something, that I was
Mm.
blindfolded. So are you love yourself? Like I said, are you a woman of worth? Are you a woman? Do you know the essence of Christ's love? Dying for you. And so if you have that, for somebody like us, well, thank God, I didn't grow up with a father who appreciated me, but my mother was like my cheerleader. And she believed so much in me. So I had that confidence, and I still have that confidence. And I grew up, among my siblings that they were really rooting for me. I know some of us didn't have that. But please, you are royalty.
Yeah.
You are a woman. You are beautiful. You are royalty. You are worth it. The Lord's signature is upon you. He knitted you. He made you in His own image. He has given you the dominion mandate. You are called to rule, to reign. You are a king. You exert your dominion mandate,
Yeah.
regardless of what your culture says. Please understand your dominion mandate. Understand John 3:16. God loves you.
Yeah.
And if God loves you, don't treat yourself as somebody who is not deserving of love. Stop treating yourself as somebody who is not deserving of love. And lastly, I want to speak to the church. I've been a pastor's wife for more than 20 years by the grace of God. I don't think it's our role to counsel people when we know they're having challenges in their marriages. By the grace of God, I've got all the qualifications, to counsel. But I've come across some people. There's some they had very little things. If you advise them,
Stay
they
here.
take
Don't know why I'm not sure.
Okay.
they take to advice and they correct themselves. But by the time you notice, there are some that I saw. I did my assessment and I never touched them. And I told my husband, I'm not going to be part of this counseling. Let them seek professional help.
One
Why am I
counsel.
saying that? For us, we have adopted these children as our own children. Pastor Labode knows some of my spiritual children. They are like children that I brought from my womb. Ah, so if you want to abuse that child, I am going to jump and fight with you.
Yeah.
So that emotional attachment is there. So how can I do justice to counseling you? There's something that we also
It's
have
hard.
about ethical boundaries in
Yeah.
counseling. You are not even expected to counsel your family. These people we have adopted sincerely. That's how I feel. I feel that these children came from my womb. So if I see anybody, anything wants to touch them, and I'm wrong, they know me. They know that I'm the lioness. I am fighting. And so I have realized my husband is still a little bit neutral. He's a little more objective than myself. He does not put any sentiment, so sometimes it works with them. But someone like me, I realized that, okay, we have met with you 2 or 3 times. You have not been able to resolve your issue. Look for professional counseling. And as pastors, we are not the Alpha and Omega. We are not
Yeah.
the Alpha and Omega concerning these people's lives. You don't have the final say over the members, of your parish. You are not the let them resolve their own issue. And if you know that somebody is in a leadership role, please don't put them down, even when they're having issues. Even when they don't punish them. The church, we we penalize. I was sharing with people,
Yeah.
if TD Jakes happen to be, I know TD Jakes is a South African person by descent, is an Igbo person, but if he's a Nigerian pastor, his ministry would have collapsed.
Yeah.
Sarah falling pregnant at 13.
Yeah.
Is so the church, we are hurting ourselves. We are hurting the pastors. We are killing our generals. We are pulling them down. I can't imagine Osinachi being a leader, and nobody could, even if she was not willing, nobody could even speak out, or even,
Mm.
I don't even want to go there. So, but please, as a church, don't. Well, it's religion. If we find ourselves in
Yeah.
relationship with Christ, most of the things that we do, we won't even get
We
into.
won't do them.
Last word for pastors: you are not the expert when it comes to
Yeah.
people's lives.
Yeah.
Let us stop becoming the general overseer
Yeah.
and know it all over people's
It's so
lives.
true. It's so true.
Let's give them that opportunity. If people don't want to come to your church anymore, that's fine. That's not the end of the world. You are not running an occult group. It's not an occultic group. Oh, you are redeemed. You cannot go to winners. You are and we are going to the
Mm.
same level. Let's begin to
Yeah.
talk to ourselves.
Mm.
Let's begin to talk to let's we are not, I keep telling people, it's not an occultic organization.
Yeah.
It is Jesus. So if
Yeah.
we're preaching Jesus, what
Yeah.
we have seen about Osinachi and the husband didn't look like Jesus. Thank you.
Mm. Wow. Mommy, you have just broken the legs of the table. You have thrown the table with the way you capped it for the church. Then God will help us. But truly, you have really spoken it, and I don't even know how to say thank you, because like if it's love even has said it's true, we can't finish this conversation. I think believe it's an ongoing conversation. But all we wanted to do today was just to encourage those that are in marriage, to encourage singles. Marriage is not a bad thing. There is so much that God has called us, even in our marriages. But you know what? Let your foundation be right. Everybody has said that. Don't ignore the red flags. There's so many points. It will be good for even especially singles to go back and watch again. And so I just want to say thank you to every one of us that's been here today. Say thank you to Abel's Love Haven. Thanks, Abuki. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Dr. Desayo. Thank you, Damilola. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all that you have shared. Even me, have gleaned from everything. I know we've almost spent 2 hours. Can you imagine? And there's still so much more to go. So we don't know if there's going to be a part two, but I have some other Instagram ones this week as well. We have some Instagram ones tomorrow. So God will help us. But I believe that this is just an ongoing conversation for us. And I believe even for us, as people of faith as well, for the church, it's like a wake-up call for us that we must not I'm looking for that word. We must not kill the members of our army. Let's look out for one another. And I also wanted to say, add this lastly, even if you know people that are going through abuse, I believe that Saboki mentioned, if you know one going through abuse and you don't even know how to help them out of that situation, start to just pray for God to make a way of escape for
Mm,
that person.
mm,
Escape as in not necessarily to leave the marriage, but whatever needs to happen for things to turn around, even in that marriage, just like that story that you shared with us. I believe that's one thing that we can do, even from the outside. You see somebody that you know what is going on in that home. Any way that you can help them, please, let's start to help. I believe as we begin to do that and show that we are our brother's keeper, to even to those people, I believe that God will now make a way of escape for that person in that situation. Thank you, everyone that has joined us. Thank you for staying with us this long. Olubumi Akitunde,
Thank you.
Ola
Thank
Ado.
you.
There is just Miriam Tua. There's
Sola
so many
Ado.
names.
Thank you.
Olufunmilola. Yeah, I know. So thank you, everyone that has joined us.
Thank you so
Those that have
much.
taken support, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me, ma. Nice to meet
Thank
you,
you, Ma.
ma.
God
I
Thank
bless
you
know.
so
you.
much, ma. I truly appreciate you,
Thank God
ma.
for online.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
everyone
much,
that's
ma.
been here. It's been so nice being here. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
ma. Bye.